Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Jennifer Scrappy and Kane. Today I'm sharing an Easter layout using another cut file from Pear Tree Cut Files. I was having fun cutting these cut files. I hadn't played with cut files for a while, so it was kind of fun to get my silhouette out and get some of these older photos done. I think the cut files really help bring the older photos together because back then I wasn't really taking pictures for scrapbooking purposes. So sometimes I just have a couple of random pictures and I want them to go together. In this case, there's one or two 4x6s. One of them is landscape and one of them is portrait. So I decided a cut file would be perfect. I also have this older collection by Simple Stories called Hip Hip Hooray, but it's not a birthday collection. It's actually, or Hip Hop Hooray, actually, and it's an Easter collection. So it's lots of pastel colors and this really pretty like teal color, but it matches the bunny that's in the photo from, I think my son's 3 in this photo, so from 25 years ago, no, 24 years ago, making him older than he is, don't tell him. But 24 years ago. So that's a long time ago to still to have a collection that matches the photo. But I only have the 6x8 pad, and then I have a couple of the 12x12 sheets that I had already cut into. So I cut them down hoping that I would be able to make an 8.5x11 out of it. And I was, by using the teal as a border and then the wood grain piece that I had left as the background. So that's what I did is I gutted the teal one so that I could have a little bit more to use in a future layout, hopefully. If I decide to, I still have quite a bit of embellishments, so I definitely will be able to complete another layout after this one with it. I'm not sure if that will be this year or not, but this one is done and ready to go in his album. So I'm going to get started by placing the background pieces together, and I'm using double-sided tape and just putting that down. I did scuff up the edges since I'm not going to add ink, since this paper is pastels versus darker. Usually if it's darker or if I'm adding black in, then I will use black ink. But since I wasn't doing that this time, I decided I would just do the scuffing of the edges. So I'm going to pop up the cut file. I kind of sped through putting all the play foam down since I'm putting a lot of it down. Again, I used each of the papers to back all of the letters and make them pop in the little cute bunny ears. I'm going to cover the eggs that are already on the cut file with paper eggs from either the ephemera, the little eggs that I fussy cut out, or I don't believe I bring in chipboard eggs. There's 2 chipboard eggs over to the right hand side, but I don't believe I use any of those. I use all paper eggs that I either fussy cut or they're from the die cut pack. I'm going to tuck in a little carrot over here by the R, and then I'm going to tuck in 2 more carrots up here by the O. And I just thought they looked kind of cute and they were in the ephemera pack, so I'm going to use them. And I'm going to pop up little pieces of play foam behind those too, since they're going to be on the title piece. Sorry, lost my train of thought. The photos I just matted in white cardstock. I'm actually not going to use any more paper or anything to mat those since there's a whole lot going on in the title piece. And I'm just putting the ATG on it, and this time I didn't have to really fight with it, thankfully. And then I will add liquid glue. And I'm just going to go ahead and pop that up right at the bottom. And again, this is a larger cut file. It's cut at 11, or not 11, it's cut probably at 10 inches or so. And then it's about probably almost 4 inches high. But it was perfect to kind of offset the 4x6 photos. And I did trim them down just slightly, but since one was portrait and one was landscape, it worked out perfectly to put one by the bunny ears and then one above the words. These little labels I'm just adding up here at the top of the photo to add a little bit more of the color from the cut file down at the bottom up at the top. I thought that little basket I could get on, but it just looked funny. I think because of the bunny ears in the cut file and then adding the basket, it just didn't work well, so I didn't do it. I'm going to add a few little sequins from my stash, and there's quite a few different ones that I'm pulling in, but mainly I'm just picking the colors that match the cut file and adding them randomly around. I decide to move one of these labels over by my son's photo where he's by himself and add those in. And I'm going to put a little, not a sticker, it's one from the ephemera pack. It says "So Happy." And I just thought it was kind of cute over here with this little smiling photo. And then over by the photo with the boys, I'll put a little wood grain heart. I had quite a few of those wood grain hearts, but two of them do make it on the layout after all. And if you're curious about the boys, they're biological brothers, but the older boy is not my son. So I just wanted to include that in his album so he has that as a childhood memory. They spent lots of time together as little boys, but they are not as close now that they are older. But anyways, here I'm just sticking down all of the sequence that I put down. I just left that in so I would have, room to explain more about the cut file and how you use a cut file. I really enjoy using cut files. I don't use them all the time just because I don't want every layout to have a cut file on it. But definitely, like I said, some of the older photos, a cut file really helps just bring it together and add a little bit something extra to the layout. So that's the way that I use cut files. And I also like to use a lot of pattern papers on the cut files when I use them, or cut them out of pattern paper. But the last couple I've only cut out of white cardstock and then used pattern paper for the title pieces. But there's the little hearts. I will add the date up there at the top also with the stamp, and then that will be it. It will go in his little album. There are a few other photos when they're dressed up for Easter and stuff like that that will have journaling. This one just was not going to get journaling on it today, but like I said, there is other layouts from the same day. So I will see you guys in the next video, and hopefully you guys enjoyed today's layout. Again, this is an 11 by 8.5 layout. Thank you for coming by. Like and subscribe. Bye.